If your summary sounds like a book report or a short story your professor already knows, it's weak. I teach English 101, and today I'll show you how to write a solid academic summary. So take this lesson with me, especially if you're a composition student, and before we end this lesson, you will write a summary with me, and I'll leave you with a comment challenge also. So let's get started. What's an academic summary, you ask? An academic summary is a brief, concise, short restatement of an original text, accurately without changing its meaning. That is an academic summary. Okay? There are three characteristics of a summary that's important for you to know. A summary must restate the original text without changing the meaning. So think of a summary as an extended version of a paraphrase when you're telling the reader something you have read somewhere else and you're retelling the story. A good summary should only include the relevant aspect of the original text. And most importantly, the summary should be written in your own language. It must be your own language. If you have not taken my previous lesson on paraphrasing, I strongly recommend that you take that one before you complete the summary lesson, because a paraphrase is just a restatement of a sentence or two, original sentence, and a summary of a restatement of the entire text, like an entire essay summarized in one paragraph. All right? Okay. So there are certain things you need to do before you actually sit down and start writing a summary. First and foremost, read the original text. If it's an essay that your professor is asking you to summarize, read the essay first. Make annotations, make notes, marginal notes, pay attention to the author's main idea and the sections of the essay. Okay? Determine what type of text you're summarizing. Is it a short story? Is it an academic essay? Is it a textbook chapter, okay, on a discipline like chemistry or biology? Or is it just a research paper? Because your summary will change accordingly. Read the text again after you have annotated it. Read it a second time and highlight, underline critically important pieces of information. Okay? And now write the main idea in your own words, but in one sentence, one stand-alone sentence. Rewrite the main idea. Okay? How would you convey the author's main idea to the reader in one sentence? Try it. Try it out. Give it a shot. Try to write one sentence conveying the main idea in your own words. Very important. Also, read the rest of the essay, okay, and make a list of the major details that support the author's thesis, also known as the main idea. Follow steps 1 through 5 a second time. Do the revisions, edit, cross things out, change, delete information as you deem necessary before writing the final draft of your summary. Okay, so the first sentence of a summary is called the topic sentence. It's called a topic sentence because it contains 3 pieces of information. First, it tells the reader the title of the essay that you are summarizing, the author's name, and if there is more than one author, then the 2 authors' names, and the essay's main idea, also known as the thesis statement. Okay? These 3 you have to do in one sentence. So let's look at some examples of how we acknowledge the source. According to Boskin, in parentheses, that's MLA format, 2004. Young and Song's 2000 paper on fluoridation discusses. So notice something. The summary writer mentions the author's names. There are 2, Young and Song. Okay, they wrote a paper on fluoridation and discusses the verb, reporting verb, authors discuss, or their paper discusses, followed by the main idea. So these are just some examples for your reference. All right? Okay, next up. Let's look at a topic sentence. This is how a typical academic summary begins. The article, Nurses and Nurses by Fromkin, 2007, claims, the reporting verb, claims, argues, maintains, contends, that male nurses are as qualified as female nurses to provide care to patients. So notice, the writer does all 3 things in the topic sentence. Title of the article is mentioned, Nurses and Nurses. The author's last name, Fromkin, is mentioned, and then the main idea. I have underlined the entire main idea for you. Male nurses are as qualified as female nurses to provide care to patients. There are some other examples, okay? And notice that the reporting verbs are written in the simple present tense. Claims, argues, suggests, and asserts or maintains. These are some examples of a topic sentence. When I give you a task at the end of the lesson, I'll give you a challenge exercise to do. Begin with a topic sentence first, including all three pieces of information. Okay? All right. So, reporting verbs. Why is it important? The different disciplines, such as biology, physics, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, nursing, sociology, and education, different disciplines use different reporting verbs and their frequency, how often they appear. My field, I teach English, I'm in the humanities, education. So in my discipline, we use the authors find, suggest, they report, they demonstrate, the authors provide evidence. These are the verbs that you will be needing to write in your summary. All right? Okay, so reminder phrases. What happens typically is I teach my students how to write an academic summary. I give them an exercise and they write, and they get carried away. Like in the middle of the summary, they forget that they are simply relaying someone else's message to the reader. So they forget to write the reminder phrases. What are they, you say? What do you think will happen if the reader does not see any reminder phrases in the summary? The reader will think it's your idea, right? And that is why it's important for you to keep reminding the reader, not me. These are not my ideas. These are not my statements. I'm simply paraphrasing someone else's idea. So you said the author goes on to say. The author further states that. Summer states, maintains, argues that. Smalley concludes that. Johnson believes that. That way you're telling the reader, it's Johnson. I'm only paraphrasing Smalley's idea or Summer's idea. The author further states that. So make sure that when you do your summary, your academic summary, that you use enough reminder phrases. Okay, it's important for you to use transition words in between sentences to make your ideas flow smoothly. Additionally, also, furthermore, moreover, more importantly, in fact, lastly, these are transition words that you should be using, okay? So that sentences don't become choppy. The ideas don't stop and begin abruptly. Okay, major details, what are they? So let's say now you have written the topic sentence. You have told the reader who the writers are. We have told the reader the title of the article or essay. Now, I know you have also told the reader this is what the essay is about. This is the essay's main idea. Now you need to tell the reader the major details. What are they? They are supporting details. They explain, support, and develop the main idea. They are more specific than the main idea, and they provide examples, reasons, stats, and they answer readers' questions about the main idea. Okay? But one important thing before we move on, in your summary, do not include minor details. Minor details are data, numbers, statistics. Okay? All right, so let's look at one example here. To help you understand. The main idea is structured peer review improves the quality of student writing. Peer reviews are a process whereby students read each other's preliminary drafts and offer comments, offer feedback on content, and maybe form, but mostly feedback on content. So we know the main idea is that if the peer reviews are structured, then the student's quality of writing improves. Major detail 1. Structured peer review promotes critical thinking skills. Very good. So major detail 1 supports the main idea. Now major detail 1 is supported by 3 minor details. Minor detail 1A, 1B, and 1C. The second major detail. Peer review increases the effectiveness of the revision process. Again, you have 3 minor details all supporting the major detail. 2, which in turn supports the main idea. Major detail 3, peer review strengthens students' understanding of academic writing standards. Okay, very good. Minor details 3.1, 3A, 3B, and 3C, the 3 of them. Observing common mistakes in classmates' essays increases awareness of grammatical and structural errors. So did you see how the whole summary is structured, how it's laid out? Main idea as mentioned, and then 1, 2, 3 major details are paraphrased or included in the summary, okay, to give the reader a clear sense of the entire essay. Okay, let's go over some do's of writing a summary. So first, I will talk to you about what you must do. So what must you do? You should mention the title of the original text. We've talked about this, the author's names, and the main idea of the essay in your first sentence, also called the topic sentence. You must always use your own words, just as you do in a paraphrase, to restate an original idea. Okay? So your language structure must be changed. You must change the structure. Okay, only mention the facts in your summary. Just the facts. Stick to the facts. In a summary, you simply restate the facts. Use reminder phrases to indicate to the reader, to remind the reader that these are not your ideas, that you're simply summarizing someone else's ideas. Write transition words, right? Furthermore, moreover, however, in addition, finally, use transition words between your sentences and end your summary with a concluding sentence. Include only major details in your summary. So give yourself some time to process this information. I know this is a lot of information for you to internalize, but it's important for you to learn that these are the do's of writing a summary. Okay, what must you not do? You do not express your opinion. Always, no matter what. In a summary, you are to be objective. Only restate the facts. Okay? But never your opinion, like I agree, or in my opinion, in my view, I disagree. No such thing in a summary. A summary must be entirely objective. All right? Okay. Using adjectives to modify nouns, avoid doing that. That's dangerous in a summary. Because if you say this was an incredible essay, that is your opinion. Incredible as an adjective that modifies the noun essay. So do not do that. Do not include a direct quotation. Always paraphrase. What is the point? It's self-defeating. If your summary is full of direct quotations from the original text, it's not a summary. A summary must be written in your own words. And never write I. There should be absolutely not a single instance of an I in an academic summary. Do not copy sentences from the original source. So be very, very careful, because the professor will take points off or maybe just give you no credit. You'll get a 0. Do not plagiarize. Do not lose sight of the content of the original text. You must remind yourself, what is the content that I'm relaying or conveying to the reader? So do not lose track of that. Do not change the meaning of the author's main points. Do not include minor details in your summary. So you cannot include your own opinion or include your ideas in an academic summary. You cannot change the author's meaning, okay, or main points. And no examples, no specific examples. All right? So far, so good? Okay. So let's do an exercise now. Okay, I need you to, by now, I think you have a clear understanding of what a summary is. I need you now to read this essay written by Yasufumi Iseki. The title of the article is Reducing Air Pollution in Urban Areas, the Role of Urban Planners by Yasufumi Iseki. So please read the first the 3 paragraphs, starting with the introduction and 2 paragraphs, well-developed paragraphs. Pay attention to both major and minor detail. But first, see what the main idea of the essay is. And then I will show you 4 sample summaries. Your job is to tell me which one do you think is the best summary is and why, in your opinion. Okay? So pause the video. If you believe it will be helpful, just write down, take notes as you're reading it, and then we'll begin. Okay? So pause the video, read it. Read the Yasufumi Iseki's article first, and we will look at 4 sample summaries. All right? Okay. Here's the first summary. What do you think? Does the summary do a good job of restating the essay that you just read? Iseki's read essay. Would you say this is a good summary? Why? Or why not? Okay? What did you think of this one? First one, summary 1. How about summary 2? Do you think this one is a good summary? Does it do the job well? Does it tell the reader oh, I should not be giving you the details because that is your job. You read this and then you tell me if this is a good summary of the essay, reducing the air pollution in urban areas, the role of urban planners. Okay? Should we see the next summary? Okay, here's the third summary. What do you think? Look in your notes. You took notes while you were taking the lesson. And I will not tell you the answer, because that will defeat the purpose of learning. It's your job to read a sample summary and make the determination. You say, yes, this is a really well-written academic summary, or no, I see areas of problems in this summary. Okay? All right, so we have looked at 3 so far. Let's look at the last one. What do you think? Is this a good academic summary? If you think yes, tell me why. If you think no, then tell me why not. Okay. So before I give you a comment challenge, which is what I always do, toward the end of a lesson, I wanted to show you a good representative academic summary. The title of the article is Genetic Influence on Personality by David Wade and Alex Tavris. So you can see these are all color-coded. Title, authors, main idea, transition words, reporting verbs, major details, and a concluding sentence. They're all color-coded, okay? So you can match up the colors. See the color of the title, the color of the authors' names, Wade and Tavris, okay? So the first sentence of the summary is a topic sentence. It shows the reader the title of the article. It tells the reader who the authors are, and the green letters, okay, they are the sentence in green, is the main idea. The nature-nurture debate has continued for many years, with scientific opinions swinging back and forth between biological and environmental interpretations of human behavior. And then you have transition words and reporting verbs, and then followed by major details. And the summary ends with a nice concluding sentence. All right? So you feel good now? You feel confident that you can write a summary now that you have acquired knowledge? Okay, so here is your challenge. The challenge is to read The Role of Time Management in Academic Success, written by Lana Zinger. That's the author's name. You have an introduction, you have 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. I'm asking you to write an academic summary following the conventions of academic written discourse, North American that is. Read it carefully, make notes, to yourself for reference and practice, and write a summary of the role of time management in academic success. Okay? I look forward to reading your summary. Be sure to type your summary in the comments, and I will read them personally. I take time and I read each and every response and I respond to them. So I hope you enjoyed the lesson. This was a very important lesson. Again, a reminder, if you did not take the lesson on paraphrasing, please do that and then do this lesson over again. And I think the second time around, you will get a lot more out of this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.